Guys, so how is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Something a little different today. If you'll remember, we picked this thing up at the flea market. I don't know, it's been several months back, sometime in the spring, I guess. I've let it sit around way too long. I did get it out and try to start it. It was a no-go. Just seems like it has really low compression. Lower than what it needs to even run, I think, but we may get a compression gauge out and throw on it here in a second. As one of the most unique bars I've ever seen. The chain adjuster is in the bar itself. I've never seen anything like that. I thought that was really cool. But I think what we're going to try to do here in this video, I may end up having to make it a couple parts, or video a little today and a little another day or something. Just depends on how long it takes me to get it apart. Pretty fluent with these things, so I shouldn't run into anything, but it's been a little while since I pulled one of the AV saws apart. But I don't think I'm gonna have to go as far as like pulling the rear handle assembly and stuff off, but it's probably really not that big of a deal either if I have to do so. But old saw in pretty good shape, pretty clean. I know most people look at these as a throwaway saw. Hell, I do myself, but this is one of the nicer, more desirable ones. I think they're from like the mid to late 90s. They're non-strato, you know, have the AV mounts. Similar to some of the Johnsreds from the same era. I think the Huskies are made just a little bit different, but I know a lot of the parts do interchange. But I think the chain brake on this one's even still intact, yep, which is pretty cool, really. Usually those things are destroyed, but it does have provisions to put a chain adjuster in that. But what I've got back here, I've got a tote. I'm just going to put parts in for now. Mainly what I'm wanting to do is figure out what it needs. This is already loose from the last time I was fooling with it, but really clean saw. Who knows what the culprit is, but that's, you know, that's pretty piss poor compression in my opinion. Even if it would start and run there, and I have gotten saws here. I had a Husky 50 here once. I've sold it long ago, but I expected to see gouges and scores all in the cylinder when I tore it down, and it honestly looked good. The rings were just worn out, or the ring rather, it only had one ring, but saw it like 85-90 pounds of compression and would still fire up and run. It was about kind of mind-numbing. It didn't run well, but it did look like someone had been cutting with it that way, believe it or not. It's just amazing what some people will cut with, I guess. But I guess you use what you have. But sometimes they will run low compression, but we'll see. Wow, I was way off base. You guys can see that. That kind of explains it. Not enough to run. I just kind of wonder if it doesn't look like it's had enough time on it to be rings worn out. I'm about expecting it, by the looks of everything else, that maybe the old saw was straight gassed or something. Who knows? I figure out what exactly we need to tear it down. Actually, it looks like hex. Lo and behold, that's what it is. I really hope I keep you guys in the camera through this. Like I said, I don't know how long it'll take to tear down. We may make one video, may make three. I know some of you fellas really like the real long videos, and on these, some of these bolts on these, you have to have a hex with the ball head, or you're just probably not going to get things very well. But this saw's really clean. I've got two of the magnesium cased saws from this same era. We've got that Craftsman, I think it's a 3.3, should be 54 cc's, and we've got the it's a 2800 Simple Man sent us. I'm really wanting to do something with that sooner than later. You know, it's a magnesium pro cased saw, or if you can call these a pro saw, any of them, but yeah, it's 46 cc's, so I'm hoping we should be able to get some decent power out of this. And these have that stupid cable. That's kind of what's fighting me right now, and then I'm sure the choke lever. I actually have a brand new card that would fit this thing somewhere. Probably out in the shed in a big tote full of parts. I've got an old Craftsman saw here, most of it. It's mainly the only difference between it and this, it's red. I'd pause you guys and get a bolt bucket. It's just like stupid hot here. It's about damn ridiculous how hot it is. While we were gone on vacation in Georgia and in Florida, it was hotter here than it was down south, believe it or not. These things have a tiny carburetor. Kind of hard to make power with something like that, but I'm not really looking to make too much of a hot rod out of this. I've got an idea of what I'm going to do with it. We'll just have to see when I get it done, but 46 cc's, you know, it'll have to run halfway decent regardless of what we do with it. I'm sure in stock form it, you know, it's probably not too bad, but it looks like this, the metal shim behind the carb, and this has an intake boot. I was thinking it was going to be similar to like a, I said, like the old Huskies and Johnsons that have that stupid little silicone tube that goes from the cylinder up to, it is the same thing. It's got a couple of hex screws right there. I highly doubt they're the same size as what we took out of the top, but we'll just have to see. In here, one over there and one there, and then that thing should come out. Been a while since I messed with one of this series of saws. That little plate behind the carb kind of threw me off. I've not seen that on one. Not sure what the deal is with that at all. But I think we can get this thing redone and make a pretty decent little saw out of it. I think I'm going to try to build it and maybe take it down to Dad as a backup saw. Dad, little wild thing down there, mine forever, and used it a lot. But I'm thinking it's going to need, we're going to need to do some hop-ups to that. Thought this is a little different design than those. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. The old Huskies, they had the like an oval intake. They don't clamp on just like this, but this one, the intake boot and the little deal for the pulse is all one piece, which is a lot better. The Huskies and J-Reds, and it may just be the smaller ones up 40 cc's, I don't know. Like the 41 I just bought at the flea market will probably go into it on camera too, but they've got an oval boot and then a little silicone tube, and that's all one piece, which in my opinion is quite a bit better design. The intake looks like it's made similar, and it's got a, I don't know if you guys can see down in there, it's got a nipple that comes out to go into that intake boot, so that's a little better design than what I'm used to. Still kind of curious what might have caused this thing to give up the ghost. I'm expecting a straight gas, or it could just be carbon scoring, or you know, broke ring, who knows, but she's really lazy on compression, guys. I don't think I'm gonna have to pull this handlebar assembly off. So they need to get the starter cover off, but hell guys, it's probably 1 or 2 bolts just to yank that thing on off. It'd be kind of dumb not to just get it out of the way, but we'll see. I'm thinking those are flathead. They look flathead, so they probably are. By now you probably done seen the video of me and Dad cutting up those maple logs. I was going to mill that log, but it did end up being hollow in the center. Probably still could have got some slabs out of it, but that damn maple is so hard to mill with the chainsaw. It uses so much gas. You have to touch up the chain about every other slab. I've done one here and done it with that stock 046, and I'm telling you, my neighbors were probably hating me before it was done. It was a real fun one to do. Uh-oh, we got one wanting to be a bitch. Real close, I think. I know I start lifting again. I'm starting to get weak. We went on vacation, been back going on 2 weeks, and I've not been in the gym at all. And I put on about 11 pounds while we were gone. We had some really good eating while we were down there. Simple man, his wife, and his brother, they had a big fish fry for us. Best damn catfish I've ever ate. Morgan, Calvin, if y'all watching that, it's the truth. Some of the best eating I'd ever ate, I think. Pretty good times down there with good people. Now the clutch and flywheel, and I'm thinking I can pull the, I probably have to pull the oil pump out. Then we can get the muffler off and get the engine assembly up out of here. And like I said, I'm really hoping that I'm not blocking the view. But back to cutting that wood up, I'm a little aggravated, which not really. We had a good time. I was wanting to run those saws just enough to see which one was the baddest, you know, like get them in the same piece of wood, like a 76, well, they're 76.5 cc shootout. What little I ran the steel, which it had an advantage on the chain. There's a guy on eBay that sells bars and chains. He sells a lot of the Canon bars. stuff like that. But he's got chains that was listed as a race chain, which I know they're not a race chain, but it's just how the guy had them listed. It's like 26, 27 bucks. It's a steel Pico chain, which is Steel's version of low profile, and they've been putting a square grinder and square ground. I bought one loop. It was for, you know, Steel or Husky 72 driver. That's mainly what we run here. Usually anything up to 2 feet, which is what that maple, certain parts of it was, I can cut easily with a 20-inch bar. 18 with big dogs on the Husky was kind of pushing it a little bit, but we got it done. The only deal is you just, you know, you've got to walk around the other side of the log or roll the log, you know, to get it cut on through all the way, which, you know, is no big deal at all. But the Steel kind of had an advantage with that chain. The chain I had on the Husky was like really aggressive. I'd done it here in my grinder. Had some pretty crazy angles on it, but it held the edge really well. It's still sharp after cutting all of that up, and I didn't video much of it. You know, I didn't video all of it, but most of the big cuts we did video. I may have to pause you guys and find something to get that off of there. Alright, we got a socket. Where was we at, guys? Talking about the two saws. I said the 460 kind of had an advantage. It had that chain. I recommend buying one of those and trying it. I don't know how long it would hold up in real hard wood, but in like poplar or something, it's like one of the smoothest, fastest cutting chains I've ever ran. But we all, you know a square ground chain does cut faster than a round ground, and you know, most people will say that they don't hold their edge nowhere near as long either, but you know, it's just a trade-off, I guess. Just all in what you want, or all in what you cut, I guess. I think we got that to come off that easy. Yeah. But yeah, the chain on that 372, it put my grinder, it was a chain I'd set up for cutting cookies, I think, on that 61 we built. Really just stupid aggressive. You know, it's a softwood cookie cutting chain, but it held its edge awesome, still sharp. I could take it right back out and work with it again, I believe. And I'm really hoping we don't have to pause and find another socket. We got lucky and the wrench had laying here, didn't it? That was really loose, like somebody'd already been into it, which is kind of what I'm expecting anyway. Guy wanted 40 bucks for the saw, I think, something like that, and I ended up getting it for, I think I gave him a $20 bill for it, because he was, you know, had no idea if he said he believed it would run, but no guarantees or nothing. I don't want to pay any more than that for a throwaway saw if I know it's not going to run. But I'd like to get both of those saws out and run on both in either hard or soft wood. I've got a couple chains here I'm going to do a video on. They're Oregon chains, but that'll be another video and discussion for another day. We'll just have to see when I get some nice test wood, or I got that big oak over at the property I'm wanting to eventually cut down. Big crooked one. I think I showed a short of it, asking how it would fall. I'm probably just going to wedge it straight downhill, let it go. If I decide to cut it, I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Ain't really hurting nothing where it's at, but These should have a metal insert in here, and it's probably not going to pull out very easy. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say which saw's better, but I don't think I've had a compression gauge on that Husky. Or the 372. It's not a Husky, it's a Farmer Tech. But with the pop-up we put in it, it had pretty decent squish. Kind of got lucky on it. There's no machine work done to that saw at all. Just a base gasket delete and a pop-up. The squish fell like around 26 thou or so, maybe 27. Could have been tighter than that. It's been quite a while since I built it, but the little red barn pop-up in it has me kind of worried. You guys remember what happened to the one in the 660? If not, it's on the channel somewhere where I talk about it blowing up. That won't be going back in it, I don't think. We'll see. That one doesn't have batteries, or they're dead. But I don't know. I think my money leaned more toward the 372. Those quad port transfer saws, with the outbound quad ports, they are just where it's at, in my experience. I can't really tell. I'm thinking I'm seeing some scoring there. That thing looks like it's got a chrome plated board. I'll know more when I get it off of there. This light's super bright, but looks like she's scored. Which I don't know if that's a good thing. Not sure if the place I've been buying cylinders for the 42cc saws has one for these. I'm sure it'd be the same cylinder for 4620 Poulan Pro. Oh, those are 5/16. That might be a problem. Well, guys, that took longer than expected. The 5/16 that's on my little deep well set of feet here is missing. I don't know where it's at. I'm sure the floor ate it. Had to get in the big red toolbox and go through my... And those lights on those are super handy. Had to go through my socket drawer. I've got a drawer that just has 3,000 random sockets in it, just from over the years, and had to go through that and find a socket. But lucky enough we had one. And you know what? We never even took our damn tool off of it. That same coil fits a lot of different saws, all the way up to a 235 or 240 Husky. I took one off a 2036 Johnser that I had out there in a box and put it on the 235 that we put the carburetor and fuel lines on. Done the muffler mod in time in advance. If you ain't seen it, we got before and after video of that. Made pretty decent improvement. You could see it pretty easy in the video how much better the saw ran. And the muffler mod I done was just, it was really passive. It'd probably pick up even more from opening the muffler on up a little more, but it's a 36cc homeowner saw. It just, really ain't worth doing a whole lot to. But I think we're ready to pull the jug out. Make sure all of those fell out. There's a rubber bushing off something. 1, 2, 3, dirt, 4. And if I'm remembering right, these should actually have 4 more screws that pull the cap off. They're either hooks or Torx. probably the same hex that fits everything. No, they're different. That kind of looks like Torx. We'll try a smaller hex and see. They're a little dirty. It definitely Torx, I believe. Which means I'll probably get to call you guys again. Yeah, they're definitely Torx. I took my air hose and blew it out. Probably see it plainly. Definitely a Torx. We bring you guys back when I've got something to take that off. Alright guys, it's looking like it's about a T25 Torx. Kind of odd. Hex heads, Phillips heads, standard bolts, Torx bolts, all in the same saw. Damn, make up your mind, what are you going to use? That's quite common, you see that a lot even on modern stuff. I've got a complete 2036 turbo. It's just a chassis and plastic out there in the shed. I'm half tempted to. It's just I'm missing just some minor parts, but I'm just kind of wondering if some of the parts off one of these Poulans just sit right back in it. We all like the red saws, or at least I do anyway. I'm trying to put these screws in that tray, because I'll probably put this engine back together and set it over here on my tote. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. I don't want to put a lot of money into the saw, but if I can get the same kit that I buy for the Wild things, which is like 40 bucks and some change, which comes with bearings, seals, gaskets, and all. You know, that may be something we look at doing. This video very horrible and horribly long, but whatever, it is what it is. But back to the cutting up the firewood, we had a pretty good time. I'll probably go back down and help them split it off sooner or later. Stuff pretty dang green, needs to split where it can dry out. Well, we have scored piston and stuck rings. It's not god awful bad. If you had to have it, that piston could be cleaned back up and reused. I wouldn't recommend it though, because these things are so daggone cheap to fix and buy. Better off just, in a lot of cases, if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably better off just to go buy another throwaway saw, I guess. That cylinder's garbage. I can't tell if that's a chrome plated bore or not. It does look a little shinier, it is. It's got a chrome bore in this. Whereas your Wild things and some of the others are just a bare aluminum bore, but that's Indeed. I don't know if it'll pick up super oily in there, but it's definitely chrome plated bore on that one. Kind of sucks that it's scuffed up, but I was expecting it, you know, 50 psi. It is what it is. I'm gonna reassemble. Looks like it has the same connecting rod and crank as a Wild thing. I'm gonna reassemble it, put our screws back in it, and regroup another day. But that's about it for this video, guys. We're gonna go in there and see if I can locate a piston and cylinder. I'm thinking that I seen some on there. I didn't have any luck finding one for a 295, but I'm about positive that the 4620 Poulan Pro is the same exact thing. Just, you know, it's a little newer. See if we can locate us a piston and cylinder for this. But anyway, if you made it here to the end, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and everybody have a good day.